Have you ever seen someone in their 80s, standing tall, full of laughter, remembering stories from 50 years ago like they happened yesterday, and thought to yourself, how are they still so sharp? Then maybe you see someone else, same age, maybe even younger, and they're slowing down. They're forgetting things, struggling to get up from a chair, or worse, they're constantly in and out of the hospital. And you start to wonder, what's going on? Why does aging look so different for people who seem so similar? It brings up a question that's hard to ignore. What really makes the difference? Because let's be real, it's not just luck. And no, it's not all about genetics either. There's this turning point, usually somewhere around age 75, where your health can take two very different paths. For some, it's a slow and steady decline. For others, it's a smoother, more graceful ride into their later years, full of energy, dignity, and joy. So, what's the reason for this big split? What if I told you that, after age 75, nearly 99% of deaths are linked to just four main causes? And here's the twist, not only are these causes well known, but many of them are actually preventable. I know, it sounds bold. Maybe even a little scary. But here's the good news, once you understand what to watch for, and you make a few small changes, you can steer clear of these dangers and enjoy your later years with peace of mind. And if a part of you is thinking, well, maybe it's too late for me. Stop right there. Because it is never too late to take back control of your health. Whether you're 65, 75, or even 85, what you choose to do today still matters tomorrow. So in this video, we're diving into the four leading causes of death after age 75, and more importantly, how to stay one step ahead of them. I'll share real stories, practical tips, and a few insights that might just shift how you think about aging altogether. And by the way, number 3 on the list? That's the one hardly anyone sees coming, until it's already too late. So stick around. Let's walk this path together, toward clarity, confidence, and maybe even a little more time with the people you love. And hey, if you're over 70 and still going strong, or if you're caring for someone who is, drop a comment below and type, "Still going strong," so we can celebrate the strength, the wisdom, and the incredible journey we're all on. And don't forget to subscribe to Elderly Wisdom Guide, because aging might be inevitable, but how we do it? That's up to us. Let's start with what many call the silent killer. Heart disease. I want you to picture someone like Harold. He's 78, a retired teacher, lives with his wife, takes his dog out for a walk every morning, and volunteers at the library on weekends. You'd look at him and think, wow, he's doing great. Then one day, Harold comes back from his usual walk and says, "I don't know why, but I was really out of breath going up the stairs today." His wife figures it's the weather, or maybe he just didn't sleep well. You know how it is, we brush things off. A few days go by. Harold's still out walking, but now he's slower. He stops more often. Sits down to catch his breath. Then, 2 months later, out of nowhere, Harold collapses in the backyard. It's a heart attack. But here's the thing, it didn't come out of nowhere. It came from years of slow, quiet buildup. See, after 75, your heart just isn't what it used to be. Arteries start to stiffen. Plaque, the fatty stuff, builds up along the artery walls. That makes it harder for your heart to push blood through. And the scary part? You don't feel it, not at first. There's no flashing light. No siren. Just whispers, tiny signs that most people ignore. Feeling unusually tired. Dizzy when you stand. Shortness of breath. Struggling with stairs. Just feeling off. And here's a big myth, people think if there's a heart issue, it'll show up in your chest. A sharp pain. Pressure. Something obvious. But in older adults? That's not always how it shows up. Sometimes it's just fatigue. Or confusion. a drop in appetite. It can even feel like a little heartburn. And that's why it gets missed, until it's too late. But here's the upside, you're not powerless. There are things you can do, and they're simpler than you might think. Start with regular checkups. Know your blood pressure. Keep an eye on cholesterol and blood sugar. Ask your doctor to run those numbers at least once a year, more often if you've had heart issues before. And let's talk habits. They matter now more than ever. Eat foods that love your heart: oats, leafy greens, berries, salmon, olive oil. Cut back on processed stuff, salty snacks, fried foods, basically anything that comes in a box with 12 ingredients you can't pronounce. And move. Not saying you need to run a marathon. But 30 minutes a day of light movement, just a walk around the block, stretching, even dancing in your kitchen, can work wonders. Your heart is a muscle. It needs oxygen. It wants to move. But it needs you to help it stay strong. Because here's the truth. Most heart problems in older adults don't start with a bang. They end with one. The more you learn to spot those quiet signals, the better chance you have of stopping something serious before it starts. But while your heart is essential, what if I told you that your own brain could quietly start working against you, too? And not in a dramatic, obvious way. No big breakdowns, at least not at first. Instead, it's small things. Subtle shifts. Easy to miss, until one day, the person you were starts to slowly fade away. Let me tell you about Evelyn. She's 81. She's lived in the same home for over 40 years. She used to host every holiday, Thanksgiving, birthdays, Christmas dinners. Sharp as a tack. Always remembered everyone's birthday. Knew exactly how you liked your coffee. But lately, her daughters noticed. Evelyn started forgetting her grandkids' names. At first, it was just a few slips here and there. No big deal. They laughed it off, mom's just having a senior moment. Then she started mixing up her medications. Once, she forgot to take them for 3 days. Another time, she took too many. She started skipping meals, either forgetting to eat or thinking she already had. It wasn't just forgetfulness anymore. It was deeper than that. It was the early stages of dementia. And this is what I call the invisible thief. Because cognitive decline doesn't kick in overnight. It sneaks up. Quietly. It steals tiny pieces of a person. Little bits of memory. Confidence. Independence. Until, slowly, the person standing in front of you starts to feel like someone else. Have you ever looked at someone in their 80s, still walking tall, laughing loud, remembering every little detail from 50 years ago, and thought, how do they do it? And then, maybe you glance at someone else, same age, maybe even younger, and they're slowing down, forgetting things, struggling to get out of a chair. Or worse, they're in and out of the hospital. And you start to wonder if they're fading right before your eyes. That's when a question hits you. One you just can't ignore. What's the real difference? Because it's not luck. And it's not just genes either. There comes a point, often right around age 75, when your health begins to go one of two ways. For some, it's a slow decline. For others, it's a graceful glide into old age with strength, clarity, and joy. But why? Why does it go so differently, for people who seem so similar? Well, what if I told you that after age 75, nearly 99% of deaths are linked to just 4 causes? And here's the twist. Not only are these causes well known, but many are actually preventable. I know, that might sound bold. Maybe even a little scary. But here's the good news. Once you know what to watch for, and the small daily choices to make, you can avoid these dangers. And live out your later years with energy, dignity, and peace. And if you're thinking, It's too late for me. Stop right there. Because it's never too late to take back control of your health. Whether you're 65, 75, or even 85, what you do today still matters tomorrow. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the 4 leading causes of death after 75, and more importantly, how to stay ahead of them. We'll talk real stories, simple habits, and the small signs that most people miss, especially number 3, the one nobody sees coming until it's too late. So stick around. Let's walk this path together, one that leads to clarity, confidence, and maybe even a little more time with the people you love. And hey, if you're over 70 and still going strong, or caring for someone who is, drop a comment below that says, "Still going strong." Let's celebrate the strength, wisdom, and journey we're all walking together. And don't forget to subscribe to Elderly Wisdom Guide. Because aging is inevitable, but how we do it? That's in our hands. 1. The silent killer, heart disease. Let's start with what many call the silent killer. Heart disease. Picture this. Harold is 78, a retired teacher. Lives with his wife. Walks his dog every morning. Even volunteers at the library. He looks healthy. But one day, after his usual walk, Harold says, "I don't know why, but I felt really winded going up the stairs." His wife brushes it off. Maybe it's the heat. Maybe he didn't sleep well. A few days later, he's still walking, but slower. More breaks. Sitting more often. 2 months later, Harold collapses in the backyard. A heart attack. Now here's the thing, it didn't come out of nowhere. It came from years of quiet buildup. As we age, arteries stiffen. Plaque builds up. The heart works harder just to do its job. But you don't feel it, not at first. There's no alarm. No flashing light. Just whispers. A little more tired than usual. Dizzy when you stand. Shortness of breath on the stairs. Feeling off, like something's just not right. And here's the myth. Most people think heart problems feel like chest pain. But in older adults, it might look like fatigue, confusion, loss of appetite, or even what feels like heartburn. That's why so many miss it, until it's too late. But you're not powerless. Here's how to fight back. White heavy checkmark, check your numbers, blood pressure, cholesterol, blood sugar. Yearly, at a minimum. White heavy checkmark, eat for your heart, oats, leafy greens, berries, salmon, olive oil. Cut the salt, skip the processed junk. White heavy checkmark, move your body, not a marathon. Just 30 minutes a day, walking, stretching, dancing in the kitchen. Your heart is a muscle, it wants to stay strong. But it needs your help. 2. The invisible thief, cognitive decline. Now, what if I told you your own brain could be working against you? Not all at once. But slowly, subtly. Let me tell you about Evelyn. 81 years old. Same house for 40 years. Always hosted holidays. Sharp as a tack, always remembered birthdays, little details, favorite coffee orders. But lately, her daughter noticed Evelyn couldn't remember her grandkids' names. Just a few slips, senior moments. Then she started misplacing her medication. Sometimes forgetting to eat. Other times thinking she already had. This wasn't normal aging. This was the early stages of dementia. Cognitive decline doesn't crash in all at once. It creeps in. Trouble finding the right word. Repeating stories. Getting lost in familiar places. Forgetting meals or routines. It's not just memory, it affects emotions, coordination, decision-making. Because when the conductor, your brain, falters, the whole orchestra goes out of tune. But here's the good news. You can protect your mind. Brains stay mentally active, puzzles, reading, hobbies, learning new things. Brain stay socially connected, phone calls, visits, laughter, they're medicine for the brain. Brain eat for memory, omega-3s, greens, berries, olive oil. Brain pay attention to early signs, the earlier you act, the more you can preserve who you are. Because your identity, your stories, your independence, they're worth fighting for. 3. The sudden setback, falls. Let's talk about the danger that changes everything in a single second. Falls. Margaret was 84, independent, sharp, full of life. Tended her garden, cooked for her grandkids, watched her favorite shows. One afternoon, she tripped on a small rug. Just a tiny fall. Just a few seconds. She broke her hip. What followed? Pain meds. Confusion. Muscle loss. Infections. She never fully recovered. Within 6 months, she was gone. Here's the harsh truth. Falls are the #1 cause of injury-related deaths in seniors. More than car accidents. More than burns. And they don't just happen to the frail. They happen to active, vibrant people, from one loose rug or slippery floor. But you can take action before it happens. House make your home safer. Remove or secure rugs. Install grab bars in bathrooms. Add lights in dark areas. Wear non-slip shoes. Declutter pathways. Flexed biceps strengthen your balance. Tai Chi. Resistance bands. Simple 1-foot stands with support. And most importantly, don't be ashamed to use support tools. Canes, walkers, rails, they're not weakness. They're wisdom. Because one fall can take away everything, but it doesn't have to. 4. The hidden fire, chronic inflammation and infection. And finally, the one most people never think about. Chronic inflammation. Let me tell you about Joseph. 79, retired teacher. Sharp, active, loved his crossword puzzles. One winter, he caught a cold. Nothing serious. But his cough got worse. He lost his appetite. He ended up in the hospital with pneumonia. And he never came home. The problem wasn't the cold. It was that his immune system was already weakened. After 75, your body doesn't fight infections the way it used to. And underneath the surface, something else may be happening. Chronic inflammation. A slow, silent fire inside the body, damaging tissues, weakening organs, and making it harder to heal. It fuels heart disease, type 2 diabetes, arthritis, Alzheimer's, even cancer. But here's what you can do to calm the fire. Fire anti-inflammatory foods, salmon, sardines, flax, chia, leafy greens, berries, olive oil. Fire stay hydrated, water helps flush toxins and keep systems running. Fire prioritize sleep, deep rest helps your body repair. Fire manage stress, chronic stress equals chronic inflammation. Don't ignore small illnesses. What looks like just a cold can become something much bigger when your defenses are down. So now you know. White heavy checkmark heart disease. White heavy checkmark cognitive decline. White heavy checkmark falls. White heavy checkmark inflammation and infection. These are the 4 causes that take far too many lives after 75. But you are not powerless. With awareness, small daily habits, and proactive care, you can stay stronger, longer. And if you're watching this thinking, can I really make a difference now? Yes. You can. Because how we age, that's in our hands. Leave a comment below. Still going strong, if that's you or someone you love. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video, it could save a life. You're not done yet. There's more time. More laughter. More moments. Let's make them count. You can't stop aging. But you can protect your mind and body, starting today. Let's begin with your brain. Brain 1. Protecting your brain. Mental decline isn't inevitable. You can fight back. Start with stimulation. Crossword puzzles, reading, learning a new hobby. These aren't just fun, they literally strengthen your brain's neural pathways. Stay social. Laughter, connection, conversation, these are medicine for your mind. Isolation, on the other hand, is one of the biggest accelerators of cognitive decline. Even a phone call, a coffee date, or a quick visit with a neighbor can make a huge difference. Eat for brain health. Omega-3s from salmon or walnuts. Leafy greens. Berries. Olive oil. These foods nourish your memory and sharpen your focus. And most importantly, don't ignore the signs. If you, or someone you love, is showing subtle changes, talk to a doctor. Early action makes all the difference. Because the sooner you intervene, the more control you keep. Cognitive decline isn't just about forgetting names, it touches identity, dignity, and independence. But with awareness, support, and action, you can stay sharp. Warning 2. Falls, the silent threat. Now, while your mind plays a big role in aging well, there's something even more dangerous, and often overlooked. Falls. Let me tell you about Margaret. She was 84. Independent. Full of life. One day, she tripped on a small rug on her way to the kitchen. Just a quick fall. But that one moment shattered everything. A hip fracture. Hospitalization. Complications. And within 6 months, she was gone. It wasn't the fall. It was everything that came after. Here's the truth. Falls are the leading cause of injury-related death in seniors. Not car accidents. Not burns. Falls. And they don't just happen to frail or inactive people. They happen to vibrant, healthy seniors because of small things: a loose rug, dim lighting, slippery shoes. House with garden prevention starts at home. Remove or tape down loose rugs. Add grab bars in the bathroom. Improve lighting in hallways and stairwells. Clear floor clutter. Wear sturdy, non-slip shoes. Flexed biceps keep your body ready. Practice balance with Tai Chi. Use resistance bands. Even standing on one foot while holding a chair helps. And never feel ashamed of using support tools: canes, walkers, handrails. These are tools of strength, not weakness. They say, "I care about my safety." Because one fall can change everything. Fire 3. The danger you can't see: chronic inflammation. Now, let's talk about something you don't feel until it's too late. Chronic inflammation. Let me tell you about Joseph. 79, retired teacher, still sharp. One winter, he caught what seemed like a minor cold. He waved off his daughter's concern. "Just a little rest," he said. But it got worse. His cough deepened. He lost his appetite. Then pneumonia hit. He never left the hospital. What started as a cold ended in goodbye. Here's what many don't realize. After 75, your immune system weakens. Not just to big threats, but even the small ones. And beneath it all, inflammation, quietly working against your body. It fuels heart disease, diabetes, arthritis, Alzheimer's, and cancer. It weakens healing, confuses the immune system, and leaves you vulnerable, even to a simple infection. Green salad: how to calm the fire. Eat anti-inflammatory foods: salmon, flax seeds, leafy greens, berries, olive oil. Stay hydrated. Prioritize deep, restful sleep. Manage stress: meditate, walk, call a friend, breathe. Stay updated with vaccines, flu, pneumonia, RSV. And when you feel off, achy, fatigued, feverish, don't brush it off. Speak up. Catch it early. Because what you ignore can become what you can't undo. Red Heart 4. The emotional heart of it all. Let's take a breath. Because this is where it gets real. Maybe you've seen your spouse forget the same thing 3 times in one day. Maybe you've watched your father stumble more often. Or your sister, once so vibrant, now withdrawn and tired. Or maybe, it's you. Feeling a little less steady. A little more forgetful. A quiet worry in your chest asking, is this just aging, or something more? That feeling is real. And it deserves to be acknowledged. Aging isn't just physical, it's emotional. It's personal. It's scary. But here's the truth no one tells you enough. You are not powerless. Now that you know the 4 causes behind nearly all deaths after 75. Heart issues. Cognitive decline. Falls. Chronic inflammation. You're not in the dark anymore. This knowledge is your power. It turns panic into purpose. Silence into action. Worry into wisdom. Counterclockwise arrows button. A quick recap. After age 75, nearly 99% of deaths come down to just 4 causes. 1. Heart disease. 2. Cognitive decline. 3. Falls. 4. Chronic inflammation. And each one, not just a threat, but a chance. A chance to notice early. To change direction. To rewrite the story. Because behind every statistic is a person. And behind every person is a story still being written. Megaphone, let's talk. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these weighs on you most? Is it memory loss? Falling? Your heart? Or the invisible threat of inflammation? Let's talk about it in the comments. Your story might be the one that gives someone else clarity, comfort, or courage. If this video brought you even one moment of understanding or peace, please subscribe. It's free, it's easy, and it ensures you won't miss out on future videos filled with support and solutions. This channel, Living Tips Senior Life, exists for you. To make aging less confusing, less scary, and a whole lot more empowering. So click that subscribe, hit like if this resonated with you, and drop a comment. Even a simple, still going strong, reminds us that you're here, walking this path with us. Clapperboard final words. Wherever you are in life, whether you're aging with grace or caring for someone who is, know this. You are seen. You are valued. And you are stronger than you think. Until next time. Stay informed. Stay compassionate. And most of all, stay strong.